Town International Airport may have been crowned the best airport in Africa for the last 3 years, but it's not content with just accolades. It's on an aggressive expansion program to make it the world's best. The airport is about to undergo a more than $460 million expansion upgrade that will see it increase its capacity for both domestic and international arrivals, with a particular focus being placed on being a hub for long-haul travel.
There is an opportunity for what often is referred to South-South, where you start linking the East with the Southern Americas, for example, and that is an opportunity. But we've got a big market already to play on where we go direct routes.
15 new routes and 20 expanded routes make the airport a particularly profitable asset for Airports Company South Africa, which is why such a significant investment was easy to pass muster. The one-way realignment set for 2020 construction means the airport can finally accept much larger aircraft, such as the Airbus A380, which will bring more tourists with more additional spend.
This airport will gain a lot of additional capacity, so the additional flight routes access will be able to boost both trade as well as tourism. Not only in terms of your normal passenger numbers, we're also looking at cargo, logistics. So anything trade related will push, so the timing is absolutely perfect.
The expansion will also increase the airport's capacity after international arrivals increased by 9% for 2019, and China remains one of the top long-haul markets where AXA is keen to push through increased direct connectivity.
That is an absolute key market. We already see relatively good connectivity. There is all the reason in the world for us to vie for a direct connection between Cape Town and China. We would love to see that coming to fruition. It's a key market for us.
Cape Town International Airport's success can also be attributed to its association with the Air Access Initiative, which seeks to boost more inbound flights into the mother city. The airport remains on track to forge ahead with its South-South ambitions, which will place Cape Town a lot closer to the beating pulse of international long-haul travel.
The energy deficit is explained, according to the report, by the rise in hydrocarbon prices on international markets, as well as by the limited level of primary energy resources, combined with a continuous increase in energy consumption.
This downward trend in activity was reflected in the decline in the number of valid permits, the worsening of primary energy balance deficit, and the absence of new discoveries for the second consecutive year, compared with 3 technical discoveries made in 2016.
According to the Ministry of Energy, the available primary energy resources, including gas royalties collected on the Trans-Mediterranean gas pipeline, fell by around 4.6% in 2018.
National oil production, including condensate and LPG, decreased by about 2.4%. This decrease is explained in particular by the natural decline in production in most fields and the cessation of production of certain fields for repair and maintenance work.
Authorities indicated that available gas resources fell by 6.4% in 2018. This reduction is mainly due to the considerable decrease in production from the 4 main fields, as well as the decrease in the tax credit levied on Algerian gas transit, minus 10% in 2018 compared to 2017.
Total natural gas consumption increased by 3% in 2018. This increase is explained by the increase in natural gas consumption for both electricity production and end users.
Economists maintain that Tunisia suffers from an energy deficit that reaches 1/3 of the trade deficit. Authorities say the deterioration in the energy balance contributed more than 65% to the widening trade deficit. The Prime Minister's advisors explained Tunisia's energy deficit by the evolution of the national energy consumption, in particular with the improvement of the standard of living, as well as the decrease in local oil production by 40% compared to 2010, due to the weakness of exploration activities.
Aimed at encouraging innovation across the continent, this Africa Innovation Week has created a platform for African innovators, especially startups, to create more jobs for the youth of the continent. The Ethiopian government, alongside the African Union Commission and IBA, Ethiopia's Center for Innovation, have collaborated to put this gathering together.
Events like this Innovation Africa Week helps us a lot to bring investors from anywhere in the world to startups and innovators in Africa. So this platform, the main reason why we are coordinating, we are partnering with African Union Commission and IBA based in Norway, and also with the support of the Royal Norwegian government, is that it brings investors and innovators together.
The event is attended by stakeholders and innovators from Ethiopia, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana and Kenya, among others.
This is a very good opportunity because it brings some of the brightest minds in Africa across to come together and analyze our ideas, look at our industries and try to push it forward. So if we can innovate in each industry in Africa, we can surely push Africa forward. Bringing forward thinkers, problem solvers, we can obviously innovate in each industry. So that's the rationale behind the event, which is a very brilliant one.
We need to start up and new ideas to solve our problems, because there are a lot of problems that needs to be solved and really managed. So as an Innovation Week, African Innovation Week will help solve these problems by helping this starting up business and starting up innovations. So it's an important week and an important event for me.
Policy makers and experts alike emphasize on better investment in innovation startups in Africa for a brighter future for the youth.
In 2019, there is a list of 30 highest priority or encouraging world ecosystem, and none of African cities are among the lists. I think it's time that we start investing into the startup ecosystem, into the incubation ecosystem.
The 6 days event will be featuring thematic areas that include women innovation, entrepreneurship, agri-tech, smart cities, health and tourism tech, and hospitality, as well as trade and investment. All important areas of growth for Africa.
A glamorous floral fair celebrating flower farmers and florists from across Kenya. The Kenya Flower Festival, 20 exhibitions with stunning artistic designs from the country's blooming sector. It took Rosemary Kimunya a little under a year to put this show together using carefully selected flower enthusiasts.
We wanted the florists to shine. We wanted them to showcase their art. We wanted the growers to be really part of this. So for them, it's not even necessarily about selling. It's about showcasing what we grow in Kenya. And for us, that is very humbling.
From newcomers to one of the oldest growers Kenya has to offer, it's a blooming showcase of the finest flowers grown locally. But this event in particular not only celebrates flower farmers, it also shows strong support for breast cancer awareness.
When you think about breast cancer, it's a woman affair, and flowers are a woman affair. So for us, the first ever event needed to recognize such kind of women who've survived, who are still battling.
Some of these flower farmers have been in the business for years and export to numerous countries across Africa and abroad.
We started growing our orchids like 3 years ago. We sell locally and internationally. We do export to United States, Japan, and mostly Singapore.
We export to Holland, Switzerland, and of late we have started exporting to China. So the business is doing well.
And if you are a flower enthusiast, passionate about keeping the environment clean, look no further.
I started as a passion of cutting glass, and I realized that from wine bottles and whiskey bottles, most of the guys who wanted me to cut their bottles wanted flower vases. And so I add value to waste into flower vases.
According to the Kenya Flower Council, the country is the largest exporter of roses to the European Union with a market share of about 38%. Even though Kenya is a leading flower exporter, Rosemary Kimunya says not enough Kenyans immerse themselves in the flower culture. Through this elegant floral event, she hopes to share her knowledge and change that narrative while supporting local flower farmers.